Okay. Let's just start in a kneeling position or a seated cross-legged position that's comfortable for you. So you can lean to one side and start moving your right arm over your head and over the side. You can either just make the rotation about the arm, or you can also use it to like move your whole spine. Depends a bit how ready you feel for that. It's totally fine to just move the arm. Same the other way, do less circles that direction. Now we move to the other side. Find the support with your arm underneath the shoulder. That feels good as you move backwards. Try to really stretch out, get really long in the side body with the arm overhead. And we change direction for 3, 2, and 1. We can have the knees a bit wider than hip width apart. Place the hands on the knees. Now I want you to just drag the elbows close to the body and lift the chest. And as you exhale, you push and round. Inhale, lift. And exhale to release. It's best to feel the space in between the vertebrae. And then find an easy straddle that allows you to rotate around your hip. It doesn't matter for the stretch of the straddle, it's more that we can anchor the sitting bones and rotate the hips around. Same in the other direction. And stay in the center, lift both knees up. One should wipe the knees from right to left. And then both feet to the front, reaching the arms up. We want to do a few rolls into our pike. Think of lifting and rolling the spine forward. On the lowest point, you can place the hands down, kind of drag yourself all the way up, arms over the side, reach up long and tall. As you lean forward, keep the compression, and then let go. Let's do 2 more like that. Reaching up long, leaning with your exhale, and dragging on the way up. Last one. Nice. Let's go all the way onto the belly. I'm just going to move the screen down. Before we move anywhere, place the fingertips underneath the elbows and just look over your right shoulder and over your left. If you feel like it's too wide, you can bring the hands a bit closer, then you have a little bit more side bend. But if that's too intense in the beginning, just stay with wider hands and shoulder position. And then place your forehead on your hands. Lift both of your feet up and let them swing from side to side to loosen up the lower back. Both feet down. Come onto your forearms. Reach the right knee up and take your hand to your butt. Same here, the elbow wants to push down and you want to look over the elbow. Give some weight to the groin and hip down to the ground. Release. Same on the other side. Slide the left knee up. Try the left shoulder the shoulder tends to fall forward. So really rotate it back, bring it to the center of the body. And release. We'll go to the shoulders. So you can start with the hands out to the side. You want to lift the arms up, float them over your head. And the height of the shoulders, flip to the back of the hand. Try to go towards the sacrum, but not touch. We do 5 of those. Reach the arms up, over the side, flip the palms. Try to connect behind your head. The head and neck is neutral with the rest of the spine. Try to find full range of motion. Reach out over the top, over the side, lengthen everything, and connect. One more. And then leave the arms out in one line with your shoulder. Roll over your right side. Left foot can either really step far back towards the butt, or you can leave it kind of long, depending what kind of stretch and twist you want in your spine. And back to center, over to the other side. Nice. Because we're on the floor already, let's bring the elbows underneath the shoulders. And I want you to just lift the fingers all the way to the knuckles. Just do a few pulses, pulse the fingers up and down, but pushing the knuckles down. Thumb can stay down. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Thumbs are up, and we want to flex the fingers out to the side and bring it in, make a fist. Open fingers and palms outside and bring it in. The wrist is floating above the ground, but the forearm wants to be connected. And then bring the elbows a bit closer, thumb fully out to the side, make a fist, and then pull the fist towards you. Open and close. And then release. Let's go all the way down onto the belly. Haven't done that in a while. Bring the feet together, lifting the belly button up. So it's already a tightness drill. Reach the arms as far forward and scratch the floor really fast. Open and close the fingers. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Bring yourself all the way back up into a tabletop. I want to play it a bit more with the shoulders. First, before we go too much into detail, just sink in between the shoulder blades and push it up. So you feel when you sink in that the shoulder blades look out, and when I push, the spine rounds. And find a neutral position, not fully pushed out, not sinking in. From that position, I want you to really pull the shoulder up. And do the same on the other side. Pull it up. There is a little bit of like weight shift that makes it happen, but you still want to stay mostly in the center. It's not this. So it's really in the center, but then because I lift the shoulders, there is obviously more weight on the other side. Then shake it out. Connect the back of the hands and do a few big rolls in both directions. We'll try the same that we did on our feet. If it helps you to, for example, have a block to get a little less in the hamstring, that's totally fine. If you have a good compression, you can place the hands on the ground. Same idea, find the rounding of the spine that's not fully pushed out, but allows you to pull one leg at a time up. Same from the front, it's not leaning fully out to the side. Try to keep the leg in the center. If you can relax the head and neck. One more on each side. And get the knees all the way together. And just roll a few times from bending the knees with the knees together onto the toes into your forward fold. See if you can keep the knees all the way together. And then roll all the way up to standing. We'll do one thing for the core. It is called 100, but we'll just do 50 today. You want to get the legs all the way together. You want to lean back. You want to have the chest nice and open and the head back. You want to have the hands next to you and just pump the hands. Keep pulling the ribs back and keep breathing. Go only to a height where you still feel your feet are on the ground. It's 15, 25, halfway through. Keep pulsing. Almost there. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. And let's come back into a tabletop. Take a moment in your tabletop to really connect with your whole palm and see how the rotation of the elbow should be, that you feel the center of the hand. For most of us, we kind of have some mobility in the elbow. So depending on the rotation, I feel the weight in my wrist changing. And we all have very different elbows, but try to find the place where you feel rooted in your hands. And then stretch out the legs, check it out in a plank. See if it's still the same when you walk the hands together. And walk it back out. And relax for a moment, maybe shake out your shoulders. I want to do a drill for the alignment with the wall. So you might need to do it with a chair or something instead of the wall, because we need both feet touching the wall, and we find our plank. Then we walk our feet to the height of the shoulders and we push into the wall and into the hands. So I can't really show you because the room is too small, but from the side, if this would be a wall, that's why you could also get a surface that's the height of your hip. You really want to focus on a good alignment. So that if you hang through, it will be very hard. So focus on the ribs and shoulders, especially if you have a kind of slidey wall. If you push 5 seconds, that should be enough to get your shoulders and core really warm. Yeah. You don't have a free wall, a chair or something a bit lower than a chair is also helping. The couch works really well. Nice, drop the hips a bit more so. Yes, nice. 5 to 10 seconds is enough to do that one. Now go a bit more into our handstand, and you can choose if you want to warm up with a handstand that is just facing belly to wall, or just a freestanding straight handstand. If you do the belly to the wall, you would just walk your hands and your feet closer in. You stop at any point where you feel like, okay, I'm too close. If you have a very good awareness and you can walk yourself all the way in, go all the way in, and maybe lift the feet off the wall. You need to know how to come out of it, or just stay as long as you can walk forward again. You can also keep only one foot on the wall instead of both, but try to keep the same focus in the center of the body. Freestanding straight handstand is also fine. Just arrive in your handstand tonight. Yes. Take it slow, just try to find your breath. Nice alignment, Eric. Yeah. Always take a few, don't take the first few so personal. Our body has to figure out where to be in space. Nice. Looking good, everyone. Yes. If you use the wall, try to go as slow as possible away from the wall. Nice. Slower you go, the easier you can balance. Balance is actually not such a static thing. It's just like exploring a bit the edge and trying to block the falling out. And the more you learn to balance, the more range of motion you will also have. And maybe you feel like, oh, now I don't have to come down immediately when I lost the center. Give you one more minute. Before we move on to the next one. Nice. It's a very good strength building drill, especially with the wall. And it is actually harder to hold the position belly to the wall. Nice, Rebecca. Take it slow. Alignment looks good. Nice. Very nice. Okay. I would say if you have something like a chair, it's a bit easier to do that. I'm gonna show it with the shelf. What we want to try to learn is the compression from the ribs. So when you kick up, that you can pull the leg up. I find it very easy to do when I push down with the leg that's on the shelf, and then I think of what we did in the beginning, just pulling the leg into my hips. So you can start already with a good position here. Depending on your flexibility, you just lift up and bring it back down. 2 or 3 times on each side is enough, but really try to feel your core. So the lower leg, you don't actually have to lift the leg that's on the floor. It comes from really pushing into the table and pulling the leg into the hip. That's enough. So Eric, the leg that's on the chair, and you have to have the other one in front. You want to do the lift here. Not over your hip yet. Nice. Much better. A few on each leg. Now, depending if you have blocks or not, I find it quite helpful to have like a boundary for myself that I know that on the way down, to make the leg coming down softly, we want to keep the weight in the hands the whole time. So if you take blocks in front of your forearms, and that also gives you a good starting position. You kick up, maybe into your L shape or straight handstand, but on the way down, I want you to do the same thing that you just did, trying to keep pushing in the hand and landing with an active compression. I find it helpful with the blocks, but you can also do it without the blocks, but trying to not move the shoulders and wrist position. You could also use it as a way to press in. Of course, you don't want to move the blocks. Very nice. So I wonder if you can use that, what you used now on the way down, also on the way up, to do like a mini press on the way up, that you don't have to touch the door.
How do you initiate this on the way up?
On the way up, I try to lift my leg as high as possible, and then you need to lean a bit forward, and then it's the same. When I lean forward, I pull the leg in, and that helps me to connect to my core, and then I can use it on the way up. And with your flexibility, it should feel actually quite nice. You can try to also do a mini hop instead of a full jump. See how little you can jump. Yes, 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 yes. That looks good. Nice. Try it from both legs.
On the way up, the foot that is on the floor never gets as close to the wrist as doing negatives.
Yeah, I think on the way up, we tend to like look a bit where we go and flatten out the spine. I also have that when I observe like a staldo press. When I do a negative, it looks much more rounded and compressed.
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
way up, I keep my spine more flat. So I think, yeah, keep focusing on trying to round as much as you can and relaxing your head.
And I need to alternate because I can only do press on one leg and negative on the other one because it's a hands.
Yeah. Sure. You do what feels good. I'm still impressed that you're doing this class. Yes, looks nice. Keep the focus. Nice. And I know it's scary when the blocks are there to really stay in the back of the body with your balance, but it is good to shift the balance point a bit more back, and it gives you an idea where your balance point is right now. Nice. Try to, I think all of you have a quite good kick up. So try to, when you kicked up, just reach up long. Yes, nice, Ivana, better. Reach, reach, reach. Nice, Rebecca, you had it. Sometimes it's more that we doubt ourselves. I think it's always good to check your foundation and see if the foundation stays in the same place, meaning the weight in the hand and the shoulder. And that should be the same in most of the handstand moves. Yes, Ivana. Nice.
Fantastic. I didn't get it. My arms shouldn't move away to the front, or they shouldn't push the blocks back.
No, they shouldn't push the blocks. Like,
Okay,
genau.
but in front it's okay.
Genau, also die Blöcke sollen einfach dir nur zeigen, quasi, dass wenn du, was ganz oft passiert, wenn man nach oben kickt, ist, dass man wieder nach hinten fällt und der Block umkippt.
Ja.
Genau, und das wollen wir vermeiden, dass wir die ganze Zeit mit der Schulter und dem Gewicht hier bleiben und dass wir den Block, quasi, wir können den berühren, aber der sollte nicht umfallen. Macht das Sinn?
Und wenn die Arme nach vorne weggehen vom Block?
Du meinst,
Also,
was meinst du?
Also, wenn ich mein Gewicht so verlagere, dann ist das okay, oder?
Nee, das willst du auch nicht. Du kannst ja auch zwei Blöcke hinstellen, einen vorne und einen hinten. Aber du willst genau in der Mitte bleiben.
Okay.
Genau, ja.
Cool.
Genau, wenn du so weit nach vorne gehst mit den Schultern, dann ist es nicht so gut für deine Handgelenke und dann, das kann auch jetzt nur davon kommen, weil du versuchst, die Wand zu berühren. Ja, weil dann muss der Körper eigentlich weitergehen, weil dein Handstand ist ja vor der Wand. Okay. Let's keep going if you want. Let's find a straddle on the ground and push your hands on the inside of your thighs, like really close to the hip bone. And I want you to find length, pushing the legs away from you, but also pulling the legs with the strength of your legs away from you. And then if you release, you should feel like the spine kind of shortens. And if I find the length, I feel my spine being longer. And that kind of stretched out feeling is something I want to have in my handstand as well. And you can try that in your straight handstand or your straddle. In the straddle, you can even like feel it both. Often when we jump in, we kind of have the sinking feeling where the lower back is a bit sinking in, or we really stretch in all directions and everything gets long. And if you have the capacity to kind of play with both and feel how different it feels, you can also do that with the wall. I would do it belly to wall, finding a straddle on the a bit higher than the hips. Then you can kind of sink in and do a shitty shape, and then really push and lengthen out. And just from me pushing and lengthening the spine, my feet lifted off the wall. And that's something cool to observe, that when everything else in the body is in alignment, that the body wants to balance a handstand. See if you can find that. See if just stretching out the legs, the back, the shoulders helps you to find that really anchored straddle handstand. Looking good. Nice. Focus on the foundation. Nice. Looks good. Very nice alignment. Try a few to like get that feeling into your body. You can also use the same feeling if you go from straddle to straight, and straddle does feel a bit lighter on the shoulders because the legs are out of the center, but if I go up, I feel like I have to stretch even more. Only if it's in your practice, you can keep exploring the straddle. Or going, yes. Nice, Rebecca. And then move slow, nice. Try to do it slow. Nice. Good. I also feel like when you move slow through the shapes, you feel more if the body is changing its alignment or if it stays. Let's drop the right leg a bit. Yes. Yes, Ivana. Very nice jump. Ah, nice. It was so nice. When you feel like you're falling, see if you can push more into the floor with the hand and try to fight a bit against the falling, because I think you don't have to fall. It was actually good. Like, even if you lose it a bit, like if you push against it, I know you're strong enough to push yourself back. Yeah, I know that like walking and falling out is also sometimes a habit, and it's more like our brain that has to be like, no, I can come back. If you want to try to add something to the straddle, let's see, I show you the belly side. So you find your straddle and then you connect the knee and the foot, and you can switch between right and left if you want. This you can also do just the shape with being with one knee and the toe, or going from straddle, going here and using it to come down, because the shape will force you to come down with a compressed spine. If you just want to try to see how it feels, you can just keep the foot pushing down and just hold the knee in. This is teaching you a lot about alignment and the shape. You don't have to balance it free. Just some options to play with. Yeah. Focus on the hips. When the hip, like the shoulders want to be going under, like when you look at it from the side, my hips look like they're too much over, right? When you're here, it's really heavy, so you have to get the hips over and the shoulders under. Instead of here, it's really hard to hold. So this is the way that makes it possible. It's a lot of pressure in the shoulders. It helps you to actively open the shoulder. Not an easy one. Nice. Good. Also, as an easier variation, Rebecca, if you want to try the entry from here, like find already one leg in your straight handstand like you just did, and then try to bring the knee on the height of the hip, then it's not so heavy for the core. And that's also something you can balance a bit easier if you want to use that to balance. Free to try it on both sides. Nice. Yes, good. Nice. Yes, so nice. Very nice. Especially when you bring the legs to the front. I mean, this is like a half pike position. We want to feel the core. If we're kind of sinking into our lower back and bring the legs forward, it will feel very heavy and we come down. I mean, it already feels heavy, but we can use the support of the core. Yes, yes, yes. Nice, Ivana. That's also good. Like really bringing the knee in and trying to roll down. That's totally good because we want to focus on the rolling down and keeping the compression. And it's a lot easier with one knee bent. You can try the same with a tuck if you want, or stay in the straddle, but in the tuck to straighten one leg and either just switch between right and left or even like come down, try to hop from here, go back into tuck. For the people who want to work with the wall, you could kick up, finding your tuck, find an easy tuck, and then straighten out your leg. And just because you're straightening out your leg, you should be able to roll down. If you just want to focus on the rolling down part, that really helps you to learn the way up by using the compression. Or stay with the one leg bent, that's a little bit lighter. Yes, yes, yes. Very nice, Rebecca. That was perfect. You have to feel how you use the core to support your whole body. Nice. So nice, all. I'm happy it works with both of your legs, this one. Try to wait a bit longer with the hips, Ivana. Now the hips weren't up and then the shoulders can't open anymore. So maybe it helps to think you make like a jump on something higher. You know, then it gives your hips more space to bring the shoulders under. Nice. Was actually really good, Rebecca. Now you also felt like where you started with the knee a bit higher, it's easier to balance. When you bring the knee lower, it pulls you down more. And that's something, first of all, it's good to learn. If I pull my knee more, I can come down to the floor, but also play a bit. Where is the range of motion of the knee where you feel like it's easy to balance? And when do you consciously decide pulling the knee in to use it for the nice controlled down? Good catch, Eric. Nice. Looks better, Ivana. Yeah, even a bit more with the hips before you push into the shoulders. Yes, and then get long. Nice. Good. Try a couple more, maybe on the other side, before I move on to the next one. For everyone else too, you can just go to the stack that I was saying and just practice that, meaning the foot is touching the knee, and then when you want to come controlled down, really compress the knee to the chest first before you come down. I'm also gonna show you once from the side. So you kick up, you find your stack. Try to find the balance here, and then really detach the foot from the knee and push the knee as much as you can to the ribs so you can land softly. Like it's a lot easier to feel the compression with the knee bend and kind of imagining that you want to push your knee into your own belly button. Nice catch, Ivana. Good. Yes. See, you can catch yourself. Nice. One step at a time. Do it slow. Yes. Like what I'm seeing. Feel free to also take a moment to stretch it out or roll out whatever you feel like is creating tension. Often when I work with compression, I actually feel my neck a lot because we tense and try to control it. So it might help to use the thumbs just on the back of the neck and release the tension on the neck. Or interlacing the hands behind the head and neck and elongating the neck. Maybe interlace the hands behind the back. Just bring your head down to the ground and reach the hands up. We'll do one preparation drill for the next drill that I want to do. Take opposite elbows and the feet and the heels are 45 degrees out And then I want you to reach forward with the elbows. So from the side, it looks like this. It is a lot easier to do this when we're also thinking of lengthening the spine and pushing the ribs back to get long. If you're doing it with a straight back, I feel very limited in my hips. If I do it fully rounded, I also don't feel the compression where my ribs and thighs are trying to come closer. Shake out the legs. If you have two blocks, I would recommend you doing it unless you have very good compression already and you feel like the height is kind of useless. I place my hands on the block, and if I want to go with the right leg first, I keep the left in the center. I start with lifting up the leg, and then you go forward. You keep the leg high, then you push back. Do the same on the other side. Start with lifting the leg up. When you bend, keep the leg lifted. You can do that a few times right and left. If you need to do something more strong, you can start with lifting one leg and then jumping both legs in and trying to bring one leg back. Or you can kind of come onto the toes, try to jump both legs forward, and still make the effort to come back. The effort to come back instead of dipping the butt down will help you in the first part of the press later on. But I feel like working on compression is definitely good for every handstand position and to just give you more stability. Try to feel it mostly in the core. Keep the rounding for as long as you can in each part of the move. Nice, looking good. If you have the strength, it might be also just fun to try to jump into it a few times. Start with your shoulders over your wrists already. Do a jump and try to float. Especially if you're a bit on a higher surface. It's quite nice. The legs shouldn't hit the ground so much. Nice. Before you get too tired on that, I give you options. You can either just say like, okay, I just need a moment to hold this position as a strength building drill and not do a handstand right now. So that would be one option. Or you work on finding your straddle and trying to find that rounding and that pushing to come down. And the moment you come down, try to stay on your toes and hold the compression for a moment. That moment, instead of dropping, is really important. And you can go back to what we did also from a kick up. Start with pulling the leg in, try to land, try to stay on your toe just for a second to hold that moment of pressure. Or if you want, you can, of course, also do a press up. But to learn a really good technique, I think the negatives are crucial. Nice. Same for the tuck, the pike, the straddle. At the end, it's all the same. If you want to do that with the wall, you could find a distance that's close enough that you feel comfortable in your straddle. Before you go anywhere, you try to create the length. You go down a bit and you bring the legs up a bit by keeping the rounding of the spine, or just go down and same here, try to keep the toes lifted for as long as you can. Let me know if you have questions. Yeah, keep that push, Rebecca. Keep that push up. I don't know. Maybe your wall is not ideal. But and just go as low as you can come back up. Instead of sliding, it might be sometimes also okay to step, make many steps. That's totally fine. Feel free to take a break. Have a good rest of your evening, soul. Nice. Wait a bit longer with the hips, Eric. Let the hips arrive and then find the length. Yes, better. Even a bit more with the hips over. Yes. No, we've done a lot today, so if you need a stretch in between, feel free to do it. You all did a lot already. Nice, Ivana. Very good control, jumping in. Looks good. Also for the last couple minutes, if you want to do something completely different or just move your legs around in different shapes, feel free to do that. I give you some fun ideas to play around as well. So you can find any handstand shape that you want and try to imagine your legs are very loose in water, but the foundation doesn't change. Or the legs are straight and you kind of try to move sideways, right to left, and see if that is possible. You could do that also close to the wall. I actually like to do that a lot to kind of paint the wall with my feet. And also maybe you find like a nice stretch that you enjoy in your handstand where you use the weight in your hands. And you could also connect the feet and try the sideways here. Belly to wall or back to wall. Just play around a bit, find your creative flow for tonight, something that just feels playful and good. Nice, Rebecca. Very good foundation. Trust it. It looks great. Nice, Ivana. Yes. Celebrate it. Super good. Sometimes it just feels good in the body after receiving so much information to just be a little kid. Nice. Very good, Eric. I don't see what your legs are doing, but the foundation looked very strong. I saw that you moved your legs, but not what exactly you did. That's all fine. Nice. Wow, Ivana, these jumps got so good. Think it made click, huh? And now you know exactly when the hips are there and when to push. Really nice. Most of the time. I still fall out of handstand. It's part of it. Okay, let's take a little moment to stretch. If you have a wall, let's see, maybe this. Get the hands a bit higher on the height of the shoulders and then see if you can lean in. I would not advise you to stick the butt out because then it goes into the lower back. So I want to keep my lumbar spine long, and if it feels good, you can bounce or be closer to the wall, then it's less intense. But you really want to sink the space in between the chest and the mid back. And bring the armpits open to the wall. Take a few deep breaths. And as slow as you came into the stretch, try to come out of it. Okay, we'll go to a seated position. If it feels helpful, you can sit on a block. Or if you want more compression work, you can put a block under your heels. Choose whichever variation feels good for you. But before you go anywhere, think of someone is pulling you on the hat forward as you lean forward. You can, I would say, keep the arms up for now because we don't want to go into a rounded position yet. So focus more on how can you get the ribs to the thighs and reach forward, but relax the head and neck. And release. Now you want to have a mini straddle, so the feet just wider than your hips. Same idea, you want to reach forward in between your legs. I sometimes like to have something in my hands that I can physically push away. That helps you. You can just use a block, pushing it away. And release. Place the fingers towards you, get the shoulder blades together, but the ribs pushing back. Bend one elbow at a time. And then take a moment to hug the front of the shins and just drop your forehead to the knees. Take 3 deep breaths into your back, in between your shoulder blades. Give yourself a hug. You're doing great. Now for the last one, the conditioning that I want to do today, I want to show you. First, we want to hold 2 positions. One is a pike, and then one is like a straddle that's not fully open, but just a little wider, kind of what we just did on the floor. So one with the legs together, one with the legs slightly open. The first one with the legs together is harder. I'm always a fan of starting with the one that's harder and then ending with the one that's lighter. But if you want to do it the opposite way, I'm not gonna tell you what to do, but I'm gonna tell you when half the time is over. So you can find your space on the wall or with your chair, whatever you're using for the drill. And we start in 3, 2, and 1. Try to see if you can root down in your hand instead of grabbing the floor. Try to sink into your palms. Now you don't have to worry about the balance. Just try to feel the alignment from inside of your body. Relax your head and neck. Then you can slowly change to the second position. Try to get the shoulders under a bit more. Meaning opening the shoulders a bit more. Nice. Shoulders a bit more in. Bit more in. Towards the belly button. Nice. 3, 2, and 1. Slowly come down. Super nice. Let's stretch that tension out immediately. Get your right hand under your shin. And then you can kind of pull because it's fixated. And either it just is enough to bring the head to the opposite side. If you want more, you can take the hand to the ear. Try not to be so harsh. Try to just let your body relax into it, create space. Slowly let go of the head, let go of the hand, and now we switch. And underneath the ankle, maybe grab the ear, otherwise just lean the head. Slowly bring back. If you have blocks, it's nice to be on something higher, can be also your chair. Get the elbows down on the block, connect the fingertips, and let the armpits sink down to the ground. Rub your head. 5 deep breaths into your shoulders. Even if there is a sensation of sinking the shoulders down, keep the length in your back. Imagine you're pushing the elbows to the front and the sacrum wants to be pulled back. We always want to find length before we find depth. And slowly come out of it. For training handstands, it's very good to do some bridges. And I just want to give you a few options. You can, if you know, I have my wheel pose and I can just put my hands down, press up, you can do it that way. What I actually often do is being on a higher surface. I'll show you with the window. Because then I can bring it a lot more into my shoulders. Instead of my lower back, you can go a lot more forward and you can really think of pushing the chest up. You could also do that with the wall, where you can bend and extend a bit more easy here. You can also use the blocks against the wall. See whatever feels good. If all of that sounds too much, go back to just leaning your chest against the wall to open the shoulders a bit more. And it can be really high if you just place the hand on the wall and walk back. This is also a form of bridge. But really imagine the chest wants to lift to the sky no matter which variation you're doing. It's about opening the front, not the lower back. Try to squeeze the shoulder blades together, get the movement in the chest. I would say rather have 2 or 3 shorter rounds and be able to breathe and feel your body cooperating instead of pushing it and you feel dizzy when you come down. So feel free to take some time for this exercise. See if you can also keep the length in the neck. Nice. you enjoy what you're doing, keep doing it. If you want to wind down a bit more, find a moment to just lay on your back. Really slowly drop the knees right to left. Massage a bit the outer glutes, but also to invite a gentle twist without pulling. So here imagine the knees going kind of forward and down to lengthen from the knees to the shoulders. And bring both knees in and hold the knees and do a few big circles, inward and outward. Use that to ground the sacrum and the hip. Did a lot of hip stuff today. Compression might feel tomorrow like tension in the front of your hip. Connect the feet, let the knees be open, wide to the side. You can take your hands even on the inside of the groin, send some relaxation there. Use the support of the hands to get the right knee to the chest, the left leg long. You can either do this with a bent leg or with a straight leg. So go for the twist. Same like in handstands. In stretching, I also try to stretch out in all directions. Imagine on all limbs, someone is pulling. And keep the neck nice and long. Use your breath to lengthen even more. Bring the right leg up. Hold behind your right leg and try to get your nose towards your knee and keep the lower leg down. And then bring the right leg all the way down so we can go to the left, either with the bent leg or the straight leg, into the twist. Long body. Use your breath to arrive in the pose. Two more deep breath here. And bring the left leg up. Pull the nose to the knee. Stretch out the opposite leg. And then release. Find any way to come back up. We'll stretch out the wrists. Fingers facing towards you. Reaching so much back that your feet are stretched. That might be anywhere from having just the shoulders on top to really bringing the heels back. It feels good, maybe rock a bit from side to side. And get back of the hands next to the knees. Some weight in the opposite direction. One is a bit brutal if you have a hard floor, but you basically want to bring your forearm down and use your knee to give some pressure to the forearm and release some tension there. You can just give weight, or you can really move the knee in like a circular motion. I also like to put pressure with my knee and my wrist, but see if that feels good. Maybe you find a spot where you just want to stay. Good thing about self-massage is you can decide how much weight you give. And if it's hurting, it's your responsibility. Stretching and releasing the body is sometimes more important than doing handstands every day. Flexibility will help you in a lot of the shapes as well. So there's days where you feel like, I don't have the energy to train handstands. Use some of the exercises that we did today for stretching, and you will also feel that that is going to support your handstand practice a lot. If you have any more questions, let me know. Otherwise, thank you very much.